Welcome to Weight Loss and Wellness for Real, the podcast where people like you get the practical solutions and support you need to permanently lose the physical and mental weight so you can feel better and live the life you really want to live in the body and mind you really want to be living in. If you're looking to overcome your stress eating, overeating, binging behaviors, and move to a place of food and body freedom, as well as find more meaning and more moments of joy in life, you are in the right place. Hey everyone, before we dive into today's episode, I want to take just a moment to talk to you, especially if you've been feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or like something really needs to change, but you don't know where to begin. Maybe it's your relationship with food or your body. Maybe it's anxiety, burnout, or that inner critic who just won't quiet down. Or maybe you're feeling called to something more in life, more clarity, more purpose, more peace, more meaning, more direction. If that resonates, I want you to know I have space available now for new therapy and life coaching clients, and I would love to support you. I'm a licensed therapist with over 25 years now of experience, and I specialize in helping women and men move through emotional eating, disordered eating patterns, life transitions. And I really use a lot of compassion and strategy to get my clients where they want to be quickly. I also work as a coach for those wanting support in creating healthier habits, navigating midlife, or stepping into their next chapter with confidence. My approach combines proven tools from cognitive behavioral therapy, often called CBT. Also, I use a lot of acceptance and commitment therapy. It's usually called ACT or ACT, and then also coaching psychology. But we always start with you, your goals, your story, and what healing or thriving looks like for you in your life. If you're in South Dakota or Wyoming, I can offer therapy services, and these can be done at my office or via telehealth. And I do accept insurance in both states. If you're outside those areas, or if you're more drawn to coaching support, I also offer virtual coaching across the US. And I also know cost can really be a barrier for a lot of people. So I do offer a sliding fee scale for those paying out of pocket. Don't let money stop you from reaching out. We really can figure something out that works. To set up your first appointment, you can head to heatherheynen.com. Heinen is spelled Heynen. If you go to that website, you can click on My Services, and then you can click on Learn More, and it's going to take you to an appointment inquiry form. Or you can make it even easier and just send me a quick message through email at info@heatherheynen.com. So whether you're interested in a one-time consult to get clarity, or you're interested in ongoing support to help you reach your goals, it really starts with just this one small step. And I'd be really honored to walk that path with you. All right, let's get into today's episode. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Wellness for Real. This is where we're looking into what it means to live well, healthy, aging with power, and pursuing real performance physically, mentally, and emotionally through every decade of life. I'm Heather Heynen, and today I want to talk to you about a concept that might shift your understanding of strength a little bit. And it's a phrase we've all heard and probably even said at some point. It's being mentally tough, right? Push through, power on, no excuses, just get it done. Sounds super noble. But today I want to offer a new perspective, a gentler, wiser, and I really believe a far more powerful lens on what true strength and resilience really looks like. The episode is called Mental Toughness versus Nervous System Safety, the New Paradigm of Performance. And I'll be honest, this isn't just about performance athletically, like in the gym or with your sport. This is about performance in your life, in your parenting, your work, your relationships, your goals, your climbing, your healing. Okay, so let's settle in. Let's explore this a little bit together. We're taught is, well, I'm going to start with a little story here. I remember being in my 50s, kind of grinding through lots of workouts, really trying to be, I want to say tough girl. I don't know if that really fits. More like I wanted to really just always be putting all effort in, trying my hardest, making the most of my time. And this for me came through in athletic performance, right? I was running all the time, miles and miles and miles. I've talked about this before. I was in the gym doing all the workouts, the spinning classes, really trying to get better at climbing and biking. I was just really pushing through exhaustion, never missing a training day, even when my body was screaming at me to rest or breaking down. And truthfully, it did work until it didn't. And in my body really started to break down. And also my mental fortitude to push through with all those super hard workouts. There were some injuries, and mentally, emotionally, I was just having a really hard time. I couldn't sleep very well. I had some brain fog. I really lost my joy for the very things I once loved. Couldn't really understand why, right? I was doing everything right according to the old rules of mental toughness and training. But, here's the thing I've kind of come to. I was a little David Goggins philosophy, which that's great for David Goggins and people who can do that. But that is, those sort of training plans and how we're behaving with exercise and athleticism, those rules really are written for, 25-year-old Navy SEALs. Not for me anymore, not for us anymore, not for men and women navigating the complexity of aging, hormones, careers, caregiving, and really chasing bold goals. So the old model, push through or fall behind, that model says ignore pain, push past fear, grind harder, rest is weakness. But the model completely ignores how the human nervous system actually works. And it is especially out of touch with how our bodies change in midlife and beyond. When you're 20, you can often get away with fighting your physiology. When you're 45, 55, 65, you really have to learn the art of working with it, or your physiology is really going to fight back. And here's what's wild. The science is already backing this all up. So let's talk about the nervous system for a second. Your nervous system controls everything: your heart rate, breathing, digestion, stress response, hormones, energy, focus, even your immune function. And it has two primary settings. It has the sympathetic, which most of us know as fight, flight, or freeze. And it also has the parasympathetic, which is our rest, digest, connect, and repair. So in healthy, regulated people, you bounce fluidly between those two states. You get hyped up when needed, like a workout, a deadline, a challenge, and then you recover, you reset, and you repair. But when you live in constant stress, when you grind and push and never pause, you get stuck in sympathetic overdrive. And the result of that is high cortisol, poor sleep, low libido, gut issues, anxiety, inflammation, and also plateaued or declining physical performance. Dr. Stephen Porges, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name, that's just how I always say it, the creator of the polyvagal theory, really explains this beautifully. He describes how our nervous system is wired for survival first, performance second. If your body does not feel safe, it will prioritize protection, not growth, strength, or connection. So I really want you to take a minute here to let that sink in. Your body will not let you thrive if it doesn't believe you're safe. So what does this mean on a practical level? You know me, let's always get practical, right? It really means we need to redefine toughness. Toughness is not shoving your feelings down. Toughness is staying present with discomfort without dissociating. Toughness is knowing when to stop, when to breathe, when to recalibrate. So think of your nervous system like a cell phone battery. Pushing hard without recovery is like running 15 apps, screen brightness on high, and never charging it. At first, it works, but over time, your battery drains faster and eventually the whole system crashes. But when you charge consistently, when you close the background apps, so like your stress, your overthinking, your perfectionism, your battery not only lasts, it performs better. Let's go into the how, because I want you to really leave this episode with real tools in your back pocket. So number one, this could be the physiological side. This was kind of coined by Dr. Andrew Huberman. It's his favorite reset method. If you listen to him, you may have heard about this, but this is where you inhale through your nose until your lungs are full. Then take one more quick inhale at the top and then slowly exhale through your mouth, and do that 2 to 3 times. This breathing technique stimulates the parasympathetic system and lowers stress markers almost immediately. So you can try this before a workout, after a workout, a tough conversation, or when you catch yourself spiraling. Another one you could try are daily grounding exercises or practices. This is orienting. This comes from somatic experiencing therapy. So every day, take 2 to 3 minutes to ground your senses. Look around slowly. Name 5 things you see. Feel your feet on the floor. Name one sound or one texture you enjoy. This simple practice reminds your brain there is no emergency. You are safe. And that changes how your body responds to everything from workouts to stress at work. And then think of number 3, think about training in waves, not walls. So instead of thinking of training as all or nothing, try wave-based intensity. So this would be you have a hard day, you have an easy day, you have a recovery day, and then repeat that, right? So it's not all these hard days, and then you end up against the wall kind of idea, but you have these waves in your training: hard day, easy day, recovery day, repeat. And this mimics your natural stress recovery rhythm and allows for sustainable strength gains when we're talking about the gym or your athletic performance. Studies show that periodization, planned rest is always part of periodization. It really leads to better strength, muscle growth, and injury prevention than linear training. And then number 4, talk to yourself like a coach, not a critic. So mental toughness culture tells us to be brutal in our inner dialogue, but self-compassion is a performance tool. I've talked about this a lot on the podcast. This is not a weakness. So try this reframe. Instead of don't be weak, say you're doing something hard and I believe in you, or your fear is valid, but we've got this. So there was some research from Dr. Kristen Neff that shows self-compassionate athletes have more motivation, less anxiety, and greater long-term consistency. Really important for those of us who are aging and trying to stay in that athletic performance mindset, but also any of us who are just trying to stay physically healthy. All right, so let me give you some real life examples, kind of what this looks like. You're at the climbing gym, you're tired, you've had a stressful day. The old voice says, don't wimp out, push through. But the wise voice, the strong voice says, today I'm practicing movement, not maxing it out. I'm rebuilding my base. Tomorrow I'll be ready to push. Or maybe it's at work. You've hit a wall mentally. So the old model, it would be grab another cup of coffee, power through. New model would be take 5 minutes, step outside, breathe, reset, return stronger. That's not quitting. That's nervous system informed strategies. So we want to think about redefining strength. Let's stop confusing suppression with strength. Let's stop measuring resilience by how much we can ignore ourselves. True power is knowing when to push, when to pause. It's learning to listen deeply so you can perform fully. It's creating inner safety so your body and brain can do what they were meant to do, thrive. This is the new way to mental toughness, in my opinion. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this episode opened your eyes or heart in some way, would you do me a favor and share it with a friend, maybe someone who's been burning the candle at both ends or who thinks resting makes them weak? That is it for today. We will talk soon.
The information in this podcast is intended to provide a broad understanding and knowledge of healthcare topics. This information is for educational purposes only and should not be considered complete and should not be used in place of advice from your physician or healthcare provider. We recommend you consult your physician or healthcare professional before beginning or altering your personal exercise, diet, or supplementation program.
Did you know you can find a lot more help from me on my website? Go to heatherheynen.com. Heynen is spelled Heynen, and there you will find links to my online courses, how I work with clients one-on-one, as well as online with my coaching and counseling services that I offer.